What is going on, everybody? We are back on it. Berserk Manga, chapters 52 and 53. You guys might be seeing this on Sunday. I think it's Friday night right now, and I think you guys are up over like 115 likes, so we might make it. If not, you guys will be seeing this on Monday. Uh, it There's not really much to be said. I feel like we're literally, and I don't know an exact number of chapters away, but at any moment, like it can happen, and by it I mean uh, Griffith makes that transition to being a demon in God Hand. Now I'm curious if, because I don't know if we're going to even get information about Griffith, but is he destined to just become a demon and then he just transitions into being a God Hand, or like he's just straight to God Hand, like right off the bat? I don't know if there's a transition process or what. You could see the chapter starting out here with the, what was it, Skull Knight, Night Skull? I forget. He's got the thorn rose on his shield here. Now I'm curious, what are the ranks with things here? Like, clearly he seems more important than a run-of-the-mill demon that was like hunting. Remember when the old man and his daughter got taken out? Those just look like everyday demon type thing. Yeah, he looks like he's got some really important duties. I don't know if he's as important as a God Hand, probably not, but he looks like he might be a little more than what Zod is and the other like apostles or whatever you want to call them. Regardless, we'll see. I am curious to like when it happens, when he finally does turn and go that route. Was there a chance that they actually could save him and turn him back and like, come with us? But it just happened to run into that moment of like the exact moment where he's becoming the demon as well. I'm curious if it looks like there's ever going to be a moment, like, do they get time to actually get to him, speak with him, attempt to break him out and show him that like life can still go on? Um or is he already being like corrupted? Because even though he's losing his mind right now, he's been tortured for a year, and like it's Guts' fault, but then Guts is also the reason why he feels this way. So it's like a, Guts is the reason he fell off the edge, but Guts is also the reason he's hanging on. He still knows nothing about like, well, screw this life, I'll just become a demon and, get revenge on whatever. To him, like he's just a human. There's still life to be had, I guess. So again, it's all predestined, so who knows? Let's just go ahead and get it. Let's press play on this. Make sure that's going. Make sure the volume's on here. Mic's on. You guys can see the cursor. Alright, cool. And then we left off with Rickert walking back up to camp, and it looked like it had been set fire. Again, is it humans, Midland, Windham forces that found them and raided through the camp? Or is that demonic forces? If it's demonic forces, everything's GG. Like, shit's over. Like, it has begun. The eclipse is happening. They're coming. Everybody get out. If it's human forces, maybe he has a chance to escape. And I had a couple of you ask, how did I know that like that was going to go bad when they peeled back? The main crux of the story has been Guts and Griffith. And they're literally about to open the door to where he's being captured. There's no way you pivot with a meanwhile panel and show me that, and it doesn't end bad. You're not just going to pan back to show me Rickert having giggles with the gang. Like, something tragic was going to happen, so we'll see. Chapter 52. Alright, well, he came back. Now here's what are all the fires, I'm trying to see how they're trying to, how are they trying to represent this? Have all the fires in the camp been put out and he's literally standing in darkness? I think that's what they're trying to illustrate here. What? Guys, where? Did they all realize there was a raid and run away? True, they could have done that. Even so, I don't see any enemies. Something's weird. Oh god. I think you guys can see my cursor. Somebody looks strung up here telling him to run. I don't think that's human forces. No way that would happen that quick. It's begun. I'm sorry, Rickert. You might be the first one of the gang taken out. Let's see how this goes. Yikes. Kim, run, Rick. I don't want to know what. Oh God. That's the. That's the Slug Boy, right? With the daughter, Teresa. I think that's. I mean, that looks very similar, but yeah, it's over. It's happening. Oh God, Rickert, you gotta get out, man. You gotta get out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's his straight up face. Again, I don't know if like demons are represented to look the same in different people, because I think everyone's their own individual demon. I don't think there's like specific demons that then take over host bodies, and when like someone like Guts, like grown-up Guts, defeats that demon in that host body then goes back to hell and then goes into another human. Like, I think they are all just individual, and that's just how the Count or whatever he looked like. But I'm pretty sure that's Teresa's, correct? Oh God, yeah. It's beginning. We haven't had any of this in a long since we ran into Zod. That was the first like, oh shit. And then the Knight Skull Knight, but he wasn't doing anything, man. You gotta run. It would run where? It is hopeless. If I had to bet money right now, he's dead. Maybe not to him, but I'm sure it's just hopeless. He's literally shaking himself. I mean, what do? You never. He's the youngest of the group. Probably has the least amount of skill. He's injured, alone, and then sees this? God. It'd be different if this was like a man that had Kim on his knees and just beheaded him in front of Rickert. It's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do, bro? At least we know that he did get his at some point. It was pretty... that whole story... It was all effed from every angle. Oh, can't be. That thing can't exist. Is he trying to run? Is that just blood that he's running on? Did the damn Count... I don't even know if he's the Count. I get them confused. Did he eat every single remaining Hawk member? Is that where all this blood is coming from? You gotta run if you can, man. Oh shit, well, I don't think we've ever seen this. Have we? This like praying mantis, crab beetle looking thing? We've never seen that. I think I do remember seeing like these hellbound faces when we were having our fight here, but I don't think we've ever, up to this point in the story, have seen whatever the hell this is. This is all bad, Rickert, man. Oh, is that an elf? God save us. She looks very, she doesn't look as inviting as Puck did, or Puck's a guy. Can you just pick us up and fly away? This just looks... it's screwed. My body won't move. Trust me, you're not alone, bro. You're not alone. Everybody, I think, would have froze up in that moment. Especially at this current time. Probably adult Guts doesn't. But at this current time, I think if even Guts is right here, he freezes. Guys. Oh, shit. He's fully surrounded. She's not friendly, is she? Is she pointing us out? Is this an evil elf? We don't even know. I said this before when we got introduced to Puck. Every time you see elves depicted, usually in stories, they're always like otherworldly, helping, amazing fighters, live forever, healing, and all that type of stuff. Sometimes you see like dark elves, but for the most time there's usually always like a light, or they're, you know, I think like Lord of the Rings type elves, where they're just on another level. This is very like demonic looking depiction here. And it doesn't look like she's trying to help. And is she pointing us out? I think she is. Oh, Lord. There's old Skull Knight, Night Skull. Oh, Jesus. Is he running us down, too? Is he gonna back them up off of us? Because it looks like we backed up into him. This is just screwed. This is bad. Unless somebody lets him go, he doesn't get out of this. I don't think anybody has been in a more screwed situation than this in any of the 50-something chapters that I've read. Everybody at least always had a fighting chance or something. Like, he's just screwed. Oh, they all froze up. Okay. So I asked this question at the beginning of this chapter. Where does he rank in regards to, like, God hands, apostles, counts, and I guess this is an elf? They all look to freeze and even a little concerned. So, what's up, bro? Withdraw? He just puts him to bed like that, huh? Dang, she is evil. You shouldn't have time to amuse yourself with slaughter in a place like this. Haste is needed, is it not? Alright, so, I mean, they look like they want to talk that shit, but he does seem to have some level of command. Damn, Rickert. So they weren't even cleared to do that. I mean, they're demons. There's no law and order, bro. How does Rick... I mean, what is life anymore? Maybe he gets to keep his... But he can't go on living like that. Those images in his head and shit. And he's so young, I mean, maybe he has time to, like, outgrow it and forget it ever happened or move past it, but, like, does he try to go join up with the rest of the group? This group's gone. There's demons out there. Are they just all going to vanish and he's just going to be sitting out in that dark field? Pools of blood? He does look like he has some kind of a say-so, though. But not enough say-so that they would, like, say shit back and or stick their tongue out as they're leaving. But they did listen. And they're gone. Can you give our man Rickert any words of encouragement? Like, do you have an erase your mind spell or something? Honestly, as fucked as it is, just take my head off, bro. Let me become one of you, or just end my misery. Like, how do you go on living? The mental damage he's gonna have, and he's so young. Like, how do you even... What can you even say? And he hasn't even seen this yet. He hasn't turned around once, has he? He just saw them all coming after him, and then they all ran away. Oh, he did peek behind him a little bit. He just hasn't fully turned around. He's just screaming at the top of his lungs. Oh, what the hell? What's going on? And he's gone. Yeah, and then, like, all that's left there. That's... Oh, sorry it had to be you, man. Sorry it had to be you. And you just see all the bodies left over. They just leave them like that. That's a good Avengers story, though. That's how an anime would start out. Rickert, imagine an anime. You're at like a mercenary war camp. Rickert's the youngest one of the group. They're toying around with him. Hey, young one, go get us some water. He comes back, runs into all this shit. All he remembers is like a night skull and a rose thorn shield and a female dark elf, and it just all vanishes. And then he grows up to go on this like revenge mission. I just gave somebody out there a story. Go ahead and get that. No way. They were in such good cheer till just now. They were so happy Griffith was coming back. How did this can't be happening. Okay, my man is at the top of a tree. That's screwed. Oh, that's just screwed. Feel bad for the man Rickert, and it's kind of like... I mean, it makes it easy to... to not have something to go back to for the group as far as rescuing Griffith. If they're able to actually rescue him, but they get caught up with like some demonic thing, you don't have to sit there and wonder like, damn, well, what the hell happened to the rest of the band of the Hawk that was sitting back there waiting for them? That's an easy write-off. Like, they're gone, they're dead. And I'm just curious what happens to Rickert. You know, if he tries to go back and find them or what, but like, it's just all screwed. I do like how he pulled up. That was pretty dope, but man, that's rough. Oh, that's one storyline clipped. I was curious, like, if Griffith gets out, but then turns his demonic side, does the Corcus and the rest of the gang just, like, kind of disperse, or how does that go? Well, that's one storyline dealt with. Let's see what 53's got. Well, there's no reason to go back there now, unless you want to give us some solo Rickert chapters. Everything else up until the point of Griffith becoming a demon should be happening. Oh, I want to see a moment. I know we're taking a second here. I'm tired for going back and forth. What is it that he said? After he said withdrawal, he said they didn't have time, or you shouldn't have time to amuse yourself with slaughters in a place like this. In a place like this, you shouldn't have time. So when they go to like pick a god hand, which I guess is what this is building up to be, like all demon hands on deck. All right, well, here they go. Impressive. This goes a lot deeper than the part of the tower above ground. Oh gosh, she's just peeking in on shit. God, she needs to stop screaming at the top of her lungs. Highness, she's gonna faint here in a second. You okay, princess? Yes. Maybe you should have waited up top after all. He's right, your highness. No, no, no. I'll go. I swear it. I want to see Lord Griffith as soon as possible. I hear ya. Stand up. I can't quite stand now. Oh, you gotta be kidding. This is why I can't stand the upper class. Here, I'll carry you. I couldn't. Quit taking so long. Look at this man, voluntarily carrying people. He's found the love of his life. Not afraid to be touched. Oh man. I am really curious though. I brought this up before. What triggers that flip back? Because we saw it with what happened with I keep saying Duncan. I think his name was Donovan. You guys always correct me with that. We saw how he was initially after that, like, do not touch me type shit. But then he started easing up on that, like, Corcus and the rest of the like Hawks Raiders would come up and put their hands on him and touch him and he would be fine. Casca would touch him, he would be fine. Like, we see all this. So I'm curious what flips that switch back. Otherwise, you wait here alone. If you don't like that, hop on. Sorry, it's not gonna be as nice as a princess carriage. Now let's go. Princess's carriage. Thank you for your trouble. Well, we keep moving. Alright. How far does this hole go anyway? And then they've got to get back out. I heard this from the king, but the underground prison was built after the time of the Inquisition, and it goes down no further than about the depth of the tower. But the hole itself existed long before the prison was built. Its depth is greater than any mountain in all of Midland. Bro, is he at the bottom of the earth? This was at the bottom of this hole. Do you all know the origin of this kingdom's name, Midland? No, does that have something to do with this hole? It goes back a long time, about 1,000 years ago. In those days, this continent saw constant warring between small city-states and many different tribes. Apparently, it was an age of rival warlords. Continuous warfare ruined the land, and due to the food shortages, plague, and the like, it's said that fully a third of the population died. Don't sound too different from nowadays. No progress. But finally, someone appeared who put an end to the warring age. It's a pretty dope armor set here. Very like Aztec, Atlantis looking type shit. Supreme King Gaiseric. He was an emperor who was able to subjugate dozens of nations and establish an age-old empire encompassing this entire continent for the first and only time in history. No one knows what country he came from, or where, or how he was raised, or how he raised an army. No records whatsoever remain regarding his account prior to the arrival. Very Griffith. Very Griffith-like, of like, no one knows how or where the hell he came from, but he's pulling people together. Sounds kind of like, yeah. Sounds kind of like Griffith. From the merciless and ruthless way of fighting the Emperor would use against those enemies who oppose him, it seems he was given such names as Demon. Oh. Is this our first Demon King name drop since the very first and only time we've heard it? Huh. Could be him. Remember the name, Gaiseric? For if we ever do, if and when we run into the Demon King and find out he was ever a human at some point. It seems he was given such names as Demon King and the King of all Galloping Death, but there was one other reason for this. Whenever Emperor Gaiseric went into battle, he would don a dreadful helmet shaped after a skull. Oh. Is that... Hold on. I need to look at something. Not exactly. I thought maybe they would have the exact same armor, because I was like, oh, well, shit, maybe it's him, but... Huh. Well, now it's making me think, is like, Guts is pinging it together as, Skull Knight that he ran into. Couldn't be, that one I've heard of. That one I've heard of. The fairy tale of the Skull King. So there was a model for it. According to the legend, I think he gathered workers from all over the empire and forced them through hard labor to build a large capital city. Then the king lived in the utmost extravagance while levying heavier and heavier taxes on people. The city ended up becoming a melting pot of feasting and pleasure, at least I think. Okay, I have no idea where I'm supposed to go with this shit. Going right, double panel, left. I'm just gonna go across. But God finally decided he couldn't condone the Skull King's deeds and sent 5 angels? Angels that might have turned into god hands? By lightning and great earthquakes, the city was erased from the face of the earth without a trace. Without a trace in the span of a night. Weren't there 4 of them? Oh yeah, but what does a fairy tale like that have to do with this hole? That it's not just some fairy tale. Oh, is this where God scorched earth on their asses and this is why it goes so deep? At the least, the city did exist. Apparently the name of the city meant land in the middle of nations, so it received the name Midland. And that city that fell into the ground by way of natural calamity is said to be sleeping still, just as it was then, in a place untouched by either sunlight or wind. Is that where we're standing currently? At the bottom of this hole. Is that true? All of that was taught to me by my history teacher. I don't know if it's true or not. But it seems that after the Emperor's death and the collapse of the imperial capital, the continent gradually became the territory covered with assorted countries as we know today. The Emperor had no children, so it isn't a direct line, but it is said that even out of all those countries, the Midland royal family is the only one that carries Gaiseric's blood. Huh. We're getting a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of name drops, a lot of should I be connecting these dots for later. Gaiseric's blood. Now we're getting into like descendants type shit. Is Griffith in that bloodline? Is Guts in that bloodline? Is Gaiseric the Demon King, or is he the Skull Knight? Are those the same thing? Nah, because I don't think they would. I don't think that female elf would like stick out her tongue and they would mess around knowing that he would show up at any moment. I want to say they're 2 different. And then the 5 angels that came down, did they get turned and become God? God hands? I don't know. This is the first time we've had any type of foreshadowing, connecting the dots. Guts is like, oh, it couldn't be Skull Knight. He wore that. Demon King 5. There's a lot. Chapter 53 is giving us a lot of like eyebrow-raising info. Also, it is fact that investigative teams have descended this hole many times, but no one person returned safely. It is said the Tower of Rebirth was built in order to seal that unclean past. You don't say, so that was our unknown history tour. But if this place was has that much history, we might see some ghosts. You might. So how low down is Griffith down here? You think we see him by the end of this? I don't know, we're probably halfway through this chapter. Do you think they make contact with, not even make contact with him, do you think they end up seeing him, like where he was being held? Bummer. What are you doing? He's dropping one of his, dropping his torch to see how far that shit goes. And we see it falling. Oh, wow. Do you think it lands like right at Griffith? And then how does the king have direct access to the very bottom? I mean, it is the king. Maybe that's something only royal would know, but is... Oh god, I thought the chapter ended for some reason. Everything went black. Oh wow. But we don't see this, do we? By we, I mean they don't see this from all the way up there, do they? Oh shit. This is at the very bottom. And they all have the markings on them. I haven't seen this in so long, I forget. I know it's the brand, but it's not like the you've been chosen as a sacrifice type thing. And again, we haven't really dipped in it. Again, this is a very important chapter, I feel like, as I get into the story, whether that's in like the 150s, 250s, 300s, and we start finding out info in history. I feel like 53 is a very like important like kickoff chapter. Like, oh, remember when they mentioned that tower and Midland and the lightning that disappeared and the God Hand. So they all have the brand. I forget the brand. Does that mean you've been chosen as a sacrifice for... That's for any demon though, right? You don't have to be a God Hand, because we saw the Count or whatever, he had branded. Did he brand his daughter? No. I think we saw somebody else besides Guts that's been branded. But I don't think it's a God Hand thing. I think it's one of those like, oh, you want this demonic thing or you want it to continue, then you must like sacrifice something. What is it? My imagination, huh? No, you might actually be seeing that. Is this the one that's been torturing? Griffith? Nothing at all. That's it. Griffith has been at the bottom of this darkness for a whole year. Now, how does Casca, how's she feeling that? Is she feeling that out of like concern for a friend or concern for a lover? Did they finally reach it? Oh god, and she just hops off. Let me down, please, Highness. Lord Griffith, she's gotta be so quiet, man. I mean, that looks like the figure that was torturing him. That's just me, though. What is... Got the keys. We have like maybe 3 pages left. Do you think they see him in there before this chapter ends? I'm gonna bet no. I don't think this is his room. Could be wrong though. Maybe they'll show us. I think we're gonna see him, and that's gonna be the last page. So they already. It smells. Griffith. I keep peeking up as I scroll down to see if we're gonna see Griffith just curled over in the corner. Do you think he's even Griffith anymore at this point? I wonder. Because we did see him a handful of chapters ago, and the demons had made contact. Maybe he's in another cell. That cannot be. I'm sure it was the lowest level. Shh, someone's here. Definitely a figure. We don't see his hair, but that, I mean, there's somebody over there. Griffith, and it ends like that. That's about what I figured. Ay. 53 though. Very I feel like it's a very important chapter, but it's important. I can't say how important it is because I don't have all the information. Well, who's to say Griffith still has this? The only reason I say I can't really tell if his hair's there is because I think the other couple chapters where they showed us him like naked and beaten and stuff, he still had his hair. I was gonna say maybe a year's gone by, he's been so malnourished that his hair is just falling out. But we saw him, I think, a handful of chapters ago, and he still had the long hair when he was reminiscing about. I think this look here was just Guts giving her the reassurance that, like, you know, go ahead and open it. Are you ready to see what may or may not be in there? But all this information of this was a very important like history drop here. I feel like it's one of those like this is very important information, but it being so early in the story, I don't know what dots to connect yet or what the meaning is. And this gave me very strong Griffith parallels, and I think I was reading it, and as soon as I scrolled down, Guts mentions the same thing. Random, and we don't get much more information on him. No one knows where he came from or how he raised an army. This is just like Griffith. No one knows how it's done or why we gravitate towards him, but he leads us and we win and we get bigger and we'll flock to him and believe in him. And then Guts says it right after. Now they said Demon King, and in the same page turned around and said he wears a skull-shaped helmet. And then Guts has the flashback to the Skull Knight that he rode around, that he ran into a year ago. So I don't think Skull Knight and Demon King are the same entity thing, are they? I don't think so. On top of that, we hear about these 5 angels that came down. 5 angels, 5 God Hand. This upstart that no one knows information about, connected to Griffith. Bloodline. Does Griffith descend from that? Does Guts descend from it? I don't know. I feel like those are the really highlights of the chapter, is them talking about Gaiseric's bloodline. Demon King name drop. Skull Knight comparison that he thinks about. Guts making a connection between Griffith and Gaiseric. 5 angels that came down. And then peeling back to here, just the I mean, Rickart's screwed. He might be alive, but is he really alive anymore after what he just saw? You could say he might think it's a bad dream, but like all those people that he was just talking with, they are dead. There's no waking up from that. We see the Count. We see this like beetle demon. What I want to even say, like grasshopper looking type thing. Now we've seen Puck, but again, maybe anything can become a demon. Maybe this elf started out like Puck and was like, screw it, I'll go to the dark side. Because I've been wondering if Puck has anything about him besides, you know, the healing ointment and shit. Are elves of any importance in this story? I don't know. Then we see him pull up, and he didn't have the same armor, but he's wearing the skull. And we see them all take a second here, like you see the worried faces and the Count. So clearly the Skull Knight, either he is that dude, like there is no higher than him, maybe he's even higher than God Hands, or if not, he at least is higher up and can give orders besides them. But I don't think he's that Demon King, because I have a feeling like if orders of him were given out, there wouldn't be this like back talk or tongue sticking out and whatever. You shouldn't have time to amuse yourself with slaughter in a place like this. I don't know, there's a lot of things that I feel like I don't know the answers to that are kind of in my face right now, but I feel like 53 It's a very important chapter. And I feel like you purposely put him here. And then give us the name drop in Parallels in 53 to really make the alarm system in the head start to go off. So I don't know. Feel bad for that man Rickert that it had to go out like that. I don't know what kind of life there is for him like that after his mental has just been damaged. You could say maybe he'll wake up for it, but like when he goes to look for his men, for his friends, they're going to be dead. And he saw those things. I mean, I'm guessing that's Griffith. Why waste the time of us going into a cell and coming across a random guy that we're gonna have to be like, oh, sorry, we're looking for someone, should we help him? I don't know, leave him, we gotta blah blah blah, and then they go find Griffith. That just seems like a whole waste of time, so maybe that really is Griffith there. Demons did make contact with him, so I don't know if Griffith is still mentally there, the Griffith that we know. Probably not, just because he's been tortured for a year, but like, is there still a human in there? And they're coming. They're coming over here, so Godspeed. Good luck. Good luck. I'll go ahead and leave it there. You guys will either see this Sunday or Monday. And then we'll have chapters 54 and 55 up either Monday or Friday, depending on when this comes out. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe as always.